Riverside.
Hey, welcome everybody. A little mini-sode, 4th and 1. It is I, your host, Captain Boring. How we all doing today? As I said, this is a little mini-sode. College football is kind of over, and we're kind of in that in-between. Super Bowl's coming up. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs on making it to the Super Bowl. So that will be coming up next week. We might do a pod. We might not. Right now, we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. More to that point, as you can see, the mascot right here is Duke. Say hi, Duke. Hi. Bok, bok. Tom Brady retired today again. First of all, that's us. We are back. Tom Brady retired after an illustrious career. He retired as the greatest quarterback ever. He retires as maybe the greatest North American athlete ever. And one of the most distinguished male athletes of all time, I would have to say. So let's just get into some statistics, and then I'll kind of just give my thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. And like I said, this is just a little mini-sode, and we'll go from there. So Tom Brady did go to Michigan. He started as the 8th string and kind of worked his way up through. Got drafted by the New England Patriots, and then really the New England Patriots just at that time signed Drew Bledsoe to what was a big contract at that time. Drew Bledsoe then gets hurt. Tom Brady comes in, leads them to a Super Bowl, and then the rest is history. So his quarterback record is 252, which is the most all time, and 82. His career completion percentage is 64%, which is pretty darn good. His passing yards is 89,214, first all time. His touchdowns are 649, first all time. His interceptions are 212, which isn't first all time, and that's what you want to be. He's been to the Pro Bowl 15 times. He's a 7-time Super Bowl champ. that is most all time. He is the 5-time Super Bowl MVP. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame All 2010s team. He was twice the AP Offensive Player of the Year. He was the Comeback Player of the Year in 2009. He was an MVP 3 times. He was All-Pro three times. He made the Hall of Fame All 2000s team as well. And he was the Player of the Year in 2007. So he had the best season of all time until Peyton Manning topped that. He was considered the best player of all time probably in 2 of his 3 careers. And what do I mean by that is he pretty much had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers. In his first career stint, which was the early 2000s, 21,000 passing yards, 147 passing TDs, 3 Super Bowl wins. Okay? Off of the stats, he probably wouldn't get into the Hall of Fame, but the 3 Super Bowl wins was. Then it was his prime, is the middle chunk of his years. That was Randy Moss, the Randy Moss year, and those years to where him and Peyton Manning were the 2 best offensive players on the planet. 40,000 passing yards, 309 passing touchdowns, and 2 Super Bowl rings. You cannot doubt or say anything that alone, his middle prime years, that is a Hall of Fame worthy. And then he had the later half of his career, which was better than the early half of his career, 27,000 passing yards, 193 passing touchdowns, and another 2 Super Bowls. So that would have been kind of his last 5 years with New England, and then his last kind of 3 years here with Tampa Bay. Tom Brady is definitely a story where it will go down, and LeBron's kind of doing it now where Tom Brady can say, I've done it better longer than anyone. Now, Tom Brady can also say, I am the greatest because he has more Super Bowl rings than anyone. He has more rings than Michael Jordan. He's been to 10 Super Bowls, won 7 of them. So he's batting 70% right there. Batting 700, which is just asinine to me. And it's really a story of being patient and working on your craft and not panicking when things don't go your way. As I said, he started at Michigan as an 8th string quarterback. Well, he kind of worked up, and then he kind of started junior, senior years on and off. But his senior year, he was swapping drives. Like, people got mad at Harbaugh this year for starting J.J. McCarthy one game and then Cade McNamara another game. Tom Brady and Drew Stetson, I believe that's what his name was. I will look it up. We're swapping drives. Drew Henson, I believe his name was. Not Drew Stenson. Yes, Drew Henson. So Tom Brady had to battle with that. Then he goes to the combine, runs like the slowest 40 time of all time, 40-yard dash. Gets drafted in the 6th round, pick 199. And then again, comes into a situation where, yeah, he can sit and kind of learn the offense and learn how to be an NFL quarterback, but then had to sit behind Drew Bledsoe. And he wasn't expected to go in. And then Drew Bledsoe signs this massive contract with the New England Patriots. So Tom Brady, at this point, is probably thinking, well, I'm destined to at least be a backup quarterback. Maybe if I go somewhere else, I will get a shot to start, but it's going to be on a really crappy team. But guess what? He just kept working at his craft, Kept being the mature adult in the room. And then Drew Bledsoe got hurt. And he took advantage of his opportunity because he was an adult. He acted like an adult. He worked on his craft. And he was ready for the moment. And quarterback and football players will come in and they'll talk to college kids all the time. And they'll say, you have to be ready to seize your moment. Well, what does that mean? That means even though you're sitting on the bench for 60 minutes of the game and you're not seeing any game action and the guy ahead of you is balling to the point where he's getting massive, again at the time, contracts to be the franchise quarterback. And you still have to show up at 5 a.m. every morning and study tape and go through a workout and motivate yourself to be better than the guy who the franchise deems is going to be their face for the next, I believe Drew Bledsoe signed like a 7-year contract at the time. It's really a story. His career is a story of hard work and competitive fire, of course. But all these kids who are in college saying Tom Brady's the GOAT and I want to be like Tom Brady. Well, then guess what? When things don't go your way, you're not transferring. You're not looking to go somewhere to sign a massive NIL deal. You're staying put. You're working on your craft. No matter how bleak things get. No matter how the 5-star freshman just signed a $2 million NIL deal. No matter that this 5-star freshman has signed a $13 million NIL deal that doesn't turn out to be what he wants, so he decommits from that school and ends up at the number 1 party school in America. We'll get to that. No, you stay. You put in the work. You build relationship with the coaches, with the other players. You become a leader for your team. And I can put this in my own life, and it's very easy. Like, if I look at my own life right now and how I'm dealing with stress of the environment, of my work environment, of the stress of my personal environment. Well, Micaiah, you're telling all of these people online, all 5 of them, to grind and work even when no one's watching, and when things get hard, you know what? Guess what? You still show up. And you be ready for your opportunity. Well, why can't you apply that to your own life? I get it. It's hard. Listen, I just want to go into work tomorrow and be the best manager I can be. And grind and do things for my employee. But sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, is it Friday yet? Is it Friday at 4:30 to where I can just clock out, check my brain out, and just not have to deal with anything anymore? Not have to deal with the complaints and the being the boss and being the one who's responsible. Can I just come home and not have to put in the effort in my marriage? Or do I need to really sit here and listen to my wife talk? Well, to be the greatest, yes. Even when it seems like you're going nowhere. And I'm sure throughout Tom Brady's career, and they've done a documentary on him, and it's on Disney Plus, I believe, or ESPN Plus. It's called The Man in the Arena. Very good documentary. Go check it out. There were times he's like, I don't think that I'm going to be a backup quarterback, and that's just about it. But guess what? His opportunity came. And because he grinded, because he stayed late and developed relationships with staff members, he was ready for his opportunity. So, I guess what I'm saying is, to all of you, and maybe I'm talking to myself here more than anything, to all of you who are just out there, just feel like you're doing the daily grind, keep doing it, but do it with a purpose. Do it to maybe not be the greatest boss, manager, husband, wife, whoever is listening out there. But maybe just keep grinding and working on you and your craft. And then one day you'll look back and you'll see you've come a mile and you've climbed a mountain, and other people are calling you a great husband, a great boss, a great X-ray tech, a great podcaster, a great Madden player. So keep grinding. Do the hard stuff while no one is watching. And then when your opportunity comes, take advantage of it. Give it a shot. Go in, jump in, be ready to go. And guess what? If the first time you jump in, you're not totally ready to go, neither was Tom Brady. Tom Brady's first pass, pick six. Not even kidding you. Came into the game, pick six. Threw pick six. He wasn't ready. He even says that. Wasn't ready, but guess what? Next time he was. Then he won a Super Bowl. So congratulations to Tom Brady. Great stuff. The quarterbacks that I grew up, oh my goodness, I'm 28 years old. I sound like I'm 57 and a half. Come on. Quarterbacks I really kind of entered my love and passion for football. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. I hated Ben Roethlisberger, but he was still there. He was a great quarterback. Have all gone. And it's a new quarterback age now. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Jalen Hurts. It's Josh Allen. It's Joe Burrow. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence. I guarantee it. Justin Fields, if they can put some offensive talent around it. And you know what they all have is they all have the same thing in common. They learn from the greatness of Tom Brady. And they are all putting in that work, putting in that drive when no one's watching. And you know what's part of putting in that work is being a great leader. And leading the way your personality dictates. Jalen Hurts isn't a scream-in-your-face kind of guy. But Tom Brady was when you were doing something wrong. Joe Burrow isn't a flashy, look at me, I'm driving cars and wearing wacky outfits. Now, he does wear wacky outfits to game, but he says, Mostly I'm at home playing Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, you mean the game that I'm playing on my Xbox? I'm playing Madden, and I sit my sweats. Oh, you mean like me right now? I just got done in an online franchise with not CFP insider Roberto. Just got done mauling the Seahawks in my sweats. But guess what? People respond to Joe Burrow. People respond to Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes, I knew he was going to be great when he was mic'd up on the sideline. He said, all we have to do is worry about ourselves and everything will work out. All we have to do is be great because we know we can be great, not because anyone else expects us to. And that's all he said. He went to a young rookie who dropped a pass in a playoff game and he said, listen, here he fumbled. He fumbled. He goes, listen, pick your head up. Stop. You're going to stand here next to me. He just wanted to go in a hole and cry. He said, you're going to stand here next to me. I'm going to come to you in a big situation, and you're going to deliver. And guess what? Later in that game, he delivered. When Patrick Mahomes needed him, he delivered. So as you grind, you're going to become a natural leader because everyone's going to look at you and wonder why you're successful and they're not. And then guess what? It's easy to do. Follow the leader. Follow the person who's successful. And meanwhile, you're grinding. And you might not scream. You might just be the quiet leader but guess what? People will follow you. Tom Brady was not flashy, but he was a scream in your face kind of guy. He demanded a lot from his teammates. Him and Michael Jordan have that in common. They demanded a ton from their teammates. Michael Jordan in his documentary, The Last Dance, said that people will look at me and think I was a tyrant, and that's fine. But I knew in order to be great, I had to get them to a certain place. And I wanted them to feel this joyous of the reward of winning an NBA title. Tom Brady has said roughly the same thing, but they demand a lot of their teammates. Not that Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes don't. But they're not going to light teammates up on the sideline like Jordan and Brady did. So what a great career by Tom Brady. Now, with all that being said, would it surprise me if in a few months, right before the season starts, someone gets hurt in Vegas, in Santa Clara, home of the 49ers, and they give him a call and he's getting that itch? Maybe. I would caution him, though. He's already kind of backslid this last 2 years, kind of, in his talent. He can no longer carry a team. The team has to be good around him, especially the offensive line. He's not very mobile, never has been. But with great, I'm going to quote Spider-Man here, with great power comes great responsibility. He had the power in this great, illustrious career. Great responsibility means it wasn't just his career, it was his marriage, and he gave that up. Him and his wife, Gisele Bundchen, split last year because he retired and then came out of retirement. And I'm sure that was the last straw. I'm sure she was expecting him to be home and take away football, and he didn't want to do that. And so she said, I've had enough. It's me or it's football. You can't do both anymore. I need you. And he picked football. So there will be sacrifices along the way. I'm not saying please sacrifice your marriage to be a great manager, a great professor, a great x-ray tech, a great whatever your job is, whoever is listening. But I am saying you will have to sacrifice some things in order to be great. You sacrifice non-stressful times. At work, maybe. maybe some late nights, early mornings. So I think that's all kind of what Tom Brady can teach us throughout his wonderful career. He says it's official this time. He made a video. He says he doesn't get the long paragraph or the farewell send-off as he did last time. Because you only get one of those, and then he unretired, and then he re-retired. So I hope he does stay retired. It's time for this game to move to the next level of quarterbacks, which is this big arm talent, mobile quarterbacks, no longer the big, sturdy pocket passers with the Peyton Mannings, the Eli Mannings, the Tom Bradys, if you will. I want to talk about one more thing, and then I'll get out of here. Stop bothering you guys for the day. Jaden Rashada, he was a 5-star quarterback, committed to Miami, then flipped to Florida because a company in Florida promised him $13 million in NIL. Well, as it turns out, once he committed to Florida, that money wasn't real. The company didn't have the money, so he asked Florida to rescind his letter. He didn't want to commit to Florida. They obliged. And he transferred to Arizona State. When we've talked everyone's ear off who listens to this podcast on a regular basis that the NIL is going to be a problem without regulation. And I'm not here to talk your ear off about that. He came out after his commitment today, I believe, as today is National Signing Day, Tuesday the 1st, February 1st. And he said, my father went there, I have a legacy there, my family's close to there, etc. And gave all these reasons, and me and Roberto were looking at each other at work, and we were like, then why didn't you go there to begin with? And Robert goes, and I go, yes, I know, it's the money. But if you went from Florida, who potentially in 2 seasons is probably pretty close to at least poking at Georgia. I'm not saying they're beating Georgia, but they're just poking. They're just being like, hey, can I get in the ring next? Can I have a shot at you? Maybe you'll blow my brakes off and you'll just knock me out in 13 seconds, Mike Tyson style. But just I got next, right? To Arizona State, who kind of fell apart, who is at best probably a 5-7 team. Young coach, 38 years old, something like that. Good offensive mind, so he's going to get to show his offensive talent, I'm sure, and that had something to do with it. Money is not always the thing you search for. I'll give you an example, a real life example. I was a nurse in the ICU 3 years. Graduated nursing school. Went into the ICU, critical care, because I thought I won't be bored. I can learn exciting new stuff, and I really liked my nursing rotation, and I could help people most critical. Got there, went about my business, but I started to learn that the healthcare in the United States... Pause. Healthcare in general is just a corrupt organization. Think what you want. Think about any other country that is better if it's socialized, unsocialized, private, not private, commercial, whatever big word you want to use. Healthcare is corrupt no matter where. Someone is taking advantage of something in healthcare, no matter where you are, who you are, in what position. So I figured that out. I was making pretty good money, but I was tired of working weekends, giving up my college football Saturdays. I was tired of working holidays. I worked night shifts, so even on the holidays, I didn't have to work. I was running on 3 hours of sleep at my family function. My body would hurt all the time. So I decided to look for another job. Found another job. And it was more of a 7 to 5 job. No weekends, no holidays. I could still impact people's lives, which I liked. I could still teach people things. I could still take care of patients, come in, do my job. This was in the midst of COVID, right in the thick summer, right after the ball dropped. The NBA bubble wasn't even playing yet, wasn't even being talked about yet. The Big Ten had canceled their season. Took the job. I was really frustrated at the time that I left because the organization that I left didn't see all the hard work that I was doing and wasn't, I felt like, compensating me appropriately. It wasn't just me. I had some older nurses that also thought that. So I bounced to this other place right after I bounced. This organization gave everyone a big raise and a bonus for all your hard work during COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, I didn't get that because I bounced. So when I left, I was going to be making 30 cents more. Now I'm making less than if I would have stayed. I was beating myself up. Because as someone, as a husband, I want to provide for my family. I want to set myself up for retirement down the road. I like making money, okay? More money, more toys you can buy, right? Simply put. And my wife looks at me and she goes, you know what, Micaiah? Sometimes money doesn't make you happy. And boy, was that true. Took this job, never looked back. No weekends, no holidays. The abusive hospital system. There's the corrupt healthcare system in and of itself. But then if you go into a hospital system, it just drains you mentally, and it's emotionally abusive. It's an emotionally abusive relationship. That's exactly what it is. That was gone, and my eyes were open. It's worth every single dollar amount, and I'm talking dollars, not cents, that I would be making more in the hospital. Dollars less to work the job I have now via where I came from. People great. Bosses great. Both places. But money is not always the best option. And if I can tell any high school, 5-star high school kid, 4-star, whoever that is, freshman looking to transfer because he wants a better NIL deal. Money. Do not chase the money, chase the situation. Money will come with the situation. And even if it doesn't, at least you'll be happy. Because if you're rich and sad, you're still sad. If you're broke and happy, welcome to the real world. So chase the situation, people. Chase the situation that is best for you. Some people do just want to make money, and they can put up with the abusive relationships, the emotionally abusive relationships of their job, career, school, whatever. And they'll make good money. But sometimes the situation is much better than any dollar amount that anyone can throw at you. So I hope it works out for Rashada. I really do. At Arizona State, the Pac-12, that would be baller, especially with USC and UCLA leaving to the Pac-10, leaving to the Big Ten, in a few years. And Tom Brady didn't chase the money. Never did. he would take less money to have more around him. Now, the Patriots kind of backed him into the corner earlier in the year, but then he found that out. Listen, if I'm not the highest paid guy, I can have a good offensive line, good running back, great defense. I don't got to do everything. Peyton Manning, I mean, there were some years of his career, his defense was trash. Patrick Mahomes took a lot of money, $500 million, but over a long period of time to where it works out, where the end of his contract, he's going to be like middle of the road paid guy. It's going to be awesome. We'll see if Tom Brady does any TV work. Can't see why he wouldn't. Probably got to pay Giselle a lot of alimony for the kids. So, that, everybody, has been another episode of the 4th and 1 podcast. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. I've been Captain Boring. Fancy Trash Can wishes he could have been here. He was down in Delaware working, putting in that twerk. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. God bless. Peace out.